Hello everyone, this is a review on Iron Man 3, and yeah, it was a good movie, and the review is coming right up. Alright. Hello, my review is on the movie Iron Man 3 that opened up May 3rd in the United States, and I got my my usual Iron Man t-shirt on. When I first did my first Iron Man review back in 2008, this is the shirt I wore, and I believe I wore it in my Iron Man 2 video, a review, 2 video, and of Iron Man 2, and so anyways, let's get on with the review, and I'll read a little summary of the movie. When Tony Stark's world is torn apart by a formidable terrorist called the Mandarin, he starts an odyssey of rebuilding and retribution. Now, the movie. I like the movie, but in the beginning of the movie, to the very end of the movie seemed kind of slow. It kind of seemed kind of slow paced. I mean, I can understand like in the beginning of the movie it has to start off a little slow because they're trying to tell a story, but the middle part of the movie seemed to kind of drag a little bit, but the action does pick up. There's a lot of action and explosions, the whole package is there, but it just seemed to start off a little slow, and but it is a good movie. And but one thing I was confused about was about the main villain in this movie. It seems to me that the main villain in this movie didn't seem to be the Mandarin. Although this is what I was thought to believe before seeing this movie, that the Mandarin, because in the comics the Mandarin is one of Tony Stark, one of Iron Man's foes. So in this movie, it's actually Aldrich Killian. Aldrich Killian is the main villain in this movie, and so all that kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting that, so it did kind of catch me off guard. But Aldrich Killian is the main villain in this movie, and it's not the Mandarin, or at least didn't seem like it, unless there's something I don't understand or know. And also in the movie, Tony Stark, we see Tony Stark a lot more than we do Iron Man. Now, I cannot stand it when they do this with superhero movies, where you see the alter ego more of the character than you do his hero part. You see the alter. I've seen this a lot in superhero movies, whether, I've seen kind of like Batman Begins. I mean, not Batman Begins. The Dark Knight Rises. Just like the Dark Knight Rises, you see more Bruce Wayne than you do Batman. So, I don't like it when they do that, but I guess that's just the way the story's written. The movie seemed a little bit more serious this time around. The last two previous movies, Iron Man seemed to be, there was humorous moments, there was the funny one-liners and stuff like that in the last two films. The humor is still there in this film, but it's not as much as the last previous films this time around. It's not as much as the last two films. It's a little bit more toned down, and the movie seemed a little bit more serious this time around. The way the movie ended, it kind of had me believing and thinking that, it had me believing that they were bringing the Iron Man movie franchise to a conclusion. It's just the way the movie ended. I had that feeling, and I had the same feeling after, after the Dark Knight Rises. After that movie, I felt it was being brought to a conclusion, to an end. To a closure, but of course that was expected. It was said that it was going to be the last movie. I felt that way after Spider-Man 3, that was the end of that movie franchise, and I kind of got the feeling after this movie again, or after this movie I got that feeling again, Now, there is a spoiler alert here. There is something that I'm gonna, if you don't want to listen, close your ears or whatever. But there is something that I want to mention because it does kind of open up questions that I have. But, well, anyways, let me just say this. At the end of the movie, Tony Stark is having surgery. Removing the shrapnel, out of his chest that was near his heart. They also removed the arc reactor as well. And when that all happened, it kind of made me think, is there going to be any more Iron Man movies, with this Iron Man movie series? Are we going to see any more? Or are they just going to reboot it all over again? I mean, because, he wears that arc reactor. That arc reactor is what part of that is what controls the suit or makes the suit work. It powers up the suit. But I'm thinking to myself, he could still be he could still be Iron Man, even without the arc reactor, because his friend Rhodes had a suit, and he didn't need no arc reactor to control or operate the suit. So I'm thinking that if he is Iron Man again, it just won't be with the arc reactor anymore, and in his chest. But also another thing too is that all leaves up some questions too. I mean, will we get another Iron Man movie? Will there be another Iron Man 4? Will we see Iron Man in the next Avengers movie, Avengers 2? So that kind of brings up a lot of questions, I think. If we were going to ever see another Iron Man movie, but maybe perhaps as a reboot or something, I don't know. But I just kind of got that feeling like they were bringing it to a conclusion. I hope not. One of the things I wanted to bring up to you is about Iron Man, or pertains to Iron Man. But since this is an Iron Man 3 review, I wanted to kind of add this to the video. But one day I was going through a box. This was about a couple of weeks ago. I was going through a box, cleaning some things out of a box, and I found one of my old childhood toys from the 70s. And I know that the last time I saw this figure was when I was 7 years old. Now, if you remember, I had a video, in my first Iron Man video, I talked about a company called Mego, but it's actually pronounced Mego, that made an action figure called made Iron Man, and I thought that was wow. I thought it was a cool figure when I was a kid. Well, it just so happens it turned up. I found it, and it's in mint condition. It's in total mint condition because it was in a plastic bag, a baggie with a rubber band around it, and this is probably why it still looks clean in mint condition. Here's the figure right here. It's still in clean mint condition, and it's from the 70s. This was my childhood toy. Now, if you notice, it looks kind of clean looking, doesn't it, for a figure this old? But I think that, like I said, it was in a plastic baggie with a rubber band around it, and it's been preserved all these years. And if like last year when I went to San Diego Comic-Con, I bought remakes, the retro remakes. So these aren't really they might be worth money someday, but if you remember one of my San Diego videos, I said that I bought these at San Diego Comic-Con. They're cloth-fitted figures, and I'm a collector. I collect things, and I hope they make worth money someday. But this one right here, and those are remakes, but this one here is a genuine one, and it's probably worth a lot more. It's worth a lot more than those ones that I showed you, because that company just makes the DC ones. They don't make Marvel anymore, and this is a Marvel one. So since this is an Iron Man 3 review, I just thought I'd share this. I can't believe it's just weird when you see something like this, and the paint's kind of fading, but when you see something like this that you haven't seen since you were a kid, and you look at the face on it, and you're thinking, God, I can remember the last time I saw that. It's kind of strange to see something you haven't seen in years, and it turns up. It's kind of weird, but But yeah, I don't know. I think these are like $75, $85 on eBay, and probably a lot more in a box or packaging, you know. But I can't believe how clean this looks. These were better actually, though. These ones had a thick, strong band inside it to hold the figure together, but there was predecessors to these ones that had a cheap band that would break and the figure would fall apart. But this one has a thick, strong band. That's probably one of the reasons why it stayed in good shape all these years. It still feel, the joints and everything still feel new, but it's going back into the plastic baggie and back into the box with all the other stuff I got stored in boxes and totes. You know, I'm a collector. I collect stuff like, you know, comic books and stuff like, you know, collect, you know, stuff that's worth money. Maybe if I have kids one day, I'll give all this stuff to them. You know, they can do what they please. Maybe hold on to it for its value, or rip the packages open and play with them, or whatever. You know, but you know, so I just thought I'd share a little bit of my childhood history there with the figure and all that. But anyways, that's the review, and you know, I just want to say that I'm really looking forward to the summer. There's going to be a lot of great movies coming out, and I'm really excited. And anyways, everybody, take care, and until the next video. All right, everybody, take care.